Hello, I'm Amanda, and I want to read 100 books this year. Have I ever read 100 books in a year? No. How many books did I read last year? 16. But we don't need to really talk about that. We don't have to talk about that right now. But I do want to read 100 books this year, and I have been on a journey of falling back in love with reading, and I've been slowly and steadily getting that groove back. So far this year, I've listened to 3 audiobooks and read 1 physical book. And I was doing the math last night, and turns out if I read about 8 to 9 books per month, then I can I'll be at 100 in no time. It's a really big goal. Yes, I know. But I see people read 100 books out of the wazoo. People who have the same sort of lifestyle as I do. I work a full-time job, 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. Like, it's if they can do it, why can't I? I'm really gonna try. I really want to try, and I think it'll be really, really fun. So that's what today's video is going to be. I'm going to be reading all day, basically, or I'll have to take a break at some point to nourish myself and to like piss and shit. I'm going to be having a lot of fun, and I'm going to show you a couple books that I want to dive in today. I think I can get a ways into a book today because I read like the first like paragraph of one of the books that I want to read, and it sounded manageable. So yeah, let's go do that. This is my little gnome. It's not Christmas time anymore, so he's going to be taking a back seat momentarily. Push him to the back so there's no chance of any fabric doing anything crazy. So here are some of the books that I want to try and dig my nose into. So the main one I'm really excited to read is Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. This is the main book that I want to get into in this video. So this is Pride and Prejudice and Zombies by Jane Austen and Seth Grahame-Smith. So I'm sure everybody here has either seen Pride and Prejudice or read Pride and Prejudice. If you haven't, that's cool because I have not read it. I've only seen it, which is kind of funny that I want to read the and zombies version of a book and I never read the original. Who cares? I don't. This was the book that I read a little bit of in the beginning, and the writing style seems okay. For some reason, I thought it would be an exact replica of the original Pride and Prejudice, just with like the word zombie thrown in there a few times, just to like, just to like carry that over. But I think it really will be zombie centric. This is what we're going to get into first, and I'm really excited for that. Next is a collection of stories, actually, that I've read a couple of. This is Ghostly by Audrey Niffenegger, and this has stories by Edgar Allan Poe, Kelly Link, M.R. James. Okay, so we don't like this next person that I'm about to mention, so I'm going to purposefully skip over his stories if I come across them, but Neil Gaiman, I'm not going to read by him, H.H. Munro, and Audrey Niffenegger herself. So I think I've read The Black Cat, which is one by Edgar Allan Poe, and then I read A Secret Life by Audrey Niffenegger. So yeah, these are just like spoopy. They're just like spooky stories, and I like a spooky story. I actually hate like scary stuff, but I can read stuff like this. It like really holds my attention as someone who can't always have their attention held. So there's that. Then we have a graphic novel. This is Dracula, Book 1, The Impaler by Matt Wagner and Kelly Jones with Jose Villarrubia. Sounds like more of a proper pronunciation. I do not know. I love vampire stuff. I have an entire vampire collection over there that I plan on doing a video on at some point, but this is one of the handful of Dracula novels that I have, but I have not read this one, and I believe this one focuses more on Dracula's lore mirrored with the Impaler. So there are several inspirations that Bram Stoker himself pulled from when he wrote Dracula, and Vlad the Impaler was like a part of a lore. I wish I knew the era off the top of my head, but a really long time ago era. And he pulled inspiration from that, and I believe this graphic novel focuses more on that lore, that side of the Dracula lore, and I'm really excited about that. So I'm gonna add that to this messy pile. I'm just gonna get started reading. Oh, I also went to the store earlier and I bought some snacks. Really healthy. It's like 10 a.m. And don't worry about it. I also got myself my guilty pleasure candy, Twin Snakes. These are so yummy. If you don't know what they are, they're like sweet and sour. One side sweet, the other side is sour. And they have some fun flavors. But let's go ahead and get this reading kicked off. Okay, it's been about 57 minutes of me reading Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, so let me just tell you how it's going. 57 minutes in, and I've only read like 40 pages, which isn't impressive, but reading doesn't have to be impressive, it just has to be fun. That's what I'm telling myself. So, my thoughts are I'm like giggling and kicking my feet a little bit. Okay, I get it. I get it. I watched Pride and Prejudice the movie a long time ago, and I remember like I was like, okay, this is fine. But I guess because I never read the book, the original book, not this book. I guess because I never read the book, I was just kind of like, all right, this is a cute little romance movie. But seeing the interactions on the page, I can't compare it to the original book because I haven't read it, but seeing the interactions between Darcy and Elizabeth on the page, it's so much more intentional. They're the plane. I'm trying to talk about two people that pretend like they hate each other but really don't. But yeah, seeing the interactions on the page is like really, really cute. I'm like, okay. Okay, Mr. Darcy, whatever, okay. I marked this page because I forgot that there was art in this book. I come across a few pages of art. It's really cool. And then I marked some of the lines in the story that have made me giggle. And it's basically just Elizabeth being like the grouchiest, like most homicidal person ever. Mr. Hurst said, "Do you prefer reading to cards?" That is rather singular. And then Elizabeth said, "I prefer a great many things to cards, Mr. Hurst, not the least of which is the sensation of a newly sharpened blade as it punctures the round belly of a man." This part was really funny too. In this part of the story, they were talking about moving Jane's body because she was sick, and so they were like talking about like trying to move her back home. They realized like that it wouldn't be a good idea, and so they were talking about bringing in Master Lou, who was someone that Elizabeth and her sisters train with in order to fight the plague and the sickness. Where they were like, "Oh, Master Lou can't come. He doesn't leave his temple." Bingley was like, "Might I expect to meet this gentleman here in Hertfordshire?" And Hertfordshire, that was really bad pronunciation. Hertfordshire? "I'd rather think you shan't," she replied, "for he has never left the confines of the Shaolin Temple in Hanam province. It was there that our girls spent many a long day being trained to endure all manner of discomfort." Then Bingley says, "May I inquire as to the nature of this discomfort?" And then Elizabeth says, "You may inquire, though I would much prefer to give you a demonstration." It's just so funny. She's really funny. She's a hoot and a half. I think now I'm gonna take a break from reading this, and I'm actually going to pick up this collection of ghost stories because I found one towards the back of the book that sounds interesting, and I think I want to read it. It is this one. It's Tiny Ghosts. Tiny Ghosts by Amy Giacoloni. Giacoloni, something like that. But it sounds really interesting, and I also like the artwork. And then see what I want to do after that. finished Tiny Ghosts by Amy G. Coloni. I think that's how you say it. And I wasn't sure where it was going, but the ending was like really cute. And I was like, oh, once it kind of clicked in my head, I was like, oh, okay, this is really sweet messaging. And I can't really talk about it without giving it away. But that was like actually really sweet. And it wasn't like, this is a collection of ghost stories. And for some reason, I had it in my head because the first couple stories that I read, they were actually like really like spooky, but this story, Tiny Ghost, it wasn't spooky. It kind of reminds me like of like The Hobbit for some reason. I don't know why it reminds me of The Hobbit, given that I haven't watched or read all of The Hobbit, but it gives me those vibes for some reason. I don't know, but it was really good. Now the bad news is I don't think I'm going to get to the Dracula graphic novel today because although it's a graphic novel and they're relatively fast to read compared to like normal books like this, it actually takes time to like digest all the pictures and all the dialogue and all the storytelling that's happening in a graphic novel. Like, you can finish them quicker than you can a normal novel, but it still takes time. I'm happy with starting Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. I'm definitely going to continue reading this tomorrow. And then I'm happy with accomplishing this short story today. So now that I've made progress with that, I'm actually going to update my book spread in my journal. So I have this journal. It's not like a book journal or like a reading journal or anything. I used to have a reading journal, but I found that I'd never updated it and like I never really wanted to either. So this is kind of like my everything journal. I have made a good ways into it and I kind of use it to journal, to draw. I have a book spread in this. Let me find it. Or did I just make that up? Did I just make up? Like I had in my head that I had a book spread in this. No, I don't have one for 2025, but I had one for 2024 and for some reason I thought I made it this year. I didn't. So instead of adding to my non-existent book spread in this, I think I'm just going to create a book spread and then add the books that I've read so far this year. So that should be fun. I just finished up doing that spread. As you saw, I hecked up at the bottom. I had to like improvise real quick, but I'm actually gonna finish the spread off camera, but I just kind of wanted to wrap everything up. But yeah, I just did like some vines and I think I'm gonna add like some more colorful flowers to it and more little bats and stuff. But really fun. And with that, I think I'm going to end off the vlog here. And I just want to say thank you so much if you watched the entirety of this. I'm having so much fun doing this and I'm having so much fun reading. Thank you so much. If you like this, please subscribe, like, or comment. I mean it from the bottom of my heart when I say like that stuff just makes me really happy and just makes me feel good that like I can put this content out to the world and somebody, even if it's just one person liking the video, like it's just a very nice thing. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.